Welcome to another episode of the Pepper Soup Talk Show, where we bring to the table movers and shakers in the African diaspora. Today, our topic is a little bit different than ones we've done so far. We've had a number of Pepper Soup Talks on real estate and the real estate industry, and this topic goes right in hand with that. Our guest today started an interior design company during the pandemic, shortly after getting laid off or released from her corporate job.
Yeah.
She had 5 years of experience working as a leasing specialist in the Philadelphia area, and her company, Noir et Blanc. Did I pronounce that right?
Noir et Blanc, oui.
Noir et Blanc, oui. Oh, the oui. That was the yes part. Gotcha. I'm the only non-French speaker on the table.
I said, tu parles français maintenant?
Oui.
Très bien.
Je parle français un peu.
Un peu, ok.
Yeah.
Très bien.
Don't sleep on me.
Continue.
So her company offers an online store for people who want to purchase an interior purchase decor for their home or for their
decor,
home decor. And then it's also a consulting service where she consults people who are interested in interior decorating. And so we're looking forward to having this conversation and learn about her journey, how it's been working on her company and where she's looking to take it, and be able to provide value to everyone watching to learn from her story. And so with that said, welcome to Pepper Soup Talk, Djefisah.
Djefisah.
How do you pronounce the last name?
Dorvilier. Yes. Thank you guys for having me here. This is like my very first podcast, so
Nice.
I'm here to just be, as transparent as possible. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so just jumping right into it. Where are you from? You were just she was just telling us about the food she was cooking.
Oh yeah.
And she's from Haiti.
So I am Haitian. Both of my parents are from Haiti. They're immigrants, so they moved to New York, which is where I was born. So I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Born and raised there. However, I moved to Philly back in 2005 is when I started high school here. So pretty much I have more memories here in Philly because I've been here for so long, but I do go back and forth to New York as often as I could because I still have family there. Growing up with immigrant parents, it can be challenging because they see things from a different perspective, and understanding the American culture is totally foreign. So we still grew up in a Haitian household, making, of course, growing up on Haitian food, speaking the language, which is Creole. So I grew up speaking the language because my grandmother didn't speak English. So I learned naturally from, just being at home. I actually was placed in ESL in, elementary school? Yeah, in elementary school. I didn't speak English. Wow. My first language was actually Creole and French. However, I lost the French language but I understand it because my family still lives in Canada, and they still speak French in the house.
Well, I have a question. When you got placed in ESL, did you know how to speak English at that time? Oh, you did not? Okay.
I didn't know how to speak English.
Because interesting, I actually got placed in ESL too growing up, and English was my first language. But they just looked at my name, and then it's
that's foul.
Yeah,
that's foul.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely in the ESL class.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They put me in there, it was an interesting experience.
It was. You're literally sitting in class with a whole bunch of foreigners.
Yeah.
And just younger kids who just don't know the language.
Right.
But growing up in New York, it didn't feel so odd, only because New York is so diverse, and there's a lot of people from different backgrounds, islands, cultures. So it's a huge melting pot. So you never feel like an outcast that you're not American. You know.
Right.
So growing up, I actually enjoyed my childhood because I had best of both worlds, you know. I was raised by my stepmom, who is also Haitian. So, you know, my dad is gonna stick to Haitian women. And, you know, like we just had an expansive family because like my mom's side, my stepmom's side, and my dad's side, it was a huge family growing up. And then I had like my friends on the block who were also Haitian. And then all of my friends in school, they were actually like from different backgrounds as well, as like Trinidadian, Puerto Rican, you know, Panamanian. Like I went to school with a whole bunch of people. So, and then also just being exposed to like the American culture. So I really just had it all. Like, so I am very cultured when it comes to that. Yeah.
What schools did you go to growing up?
So like starting in elementary school?
Yeah.
Like elementary school, I went to PS 119, which is in Brooklyn.
So yeah.
It was walking distance from my house. And actually, that's where I met my boyfriend. We've known each other since second grade.
Wow.
We've known each other since second grade. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a whole nother story.
And then middle school, which is junior high school in New York, I went to Marine Park, IS 278. Which was in the Marine Park area, and that is actually the school that Chris Rock went to. So that show that he produced, Everybody Hates Chris, it was actually portraying Marine Park. Like it was an all-white school back then.
Wow.
And then high school in Philly, I actually went to and graduated from Roxborough High School.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, it sounds like you got a really like prolific like, you know, upbringing. Definitely like being exposed to like different people, different culture. Let's fast forward a little bit and talk about your career trajectory, right? So talk to us about like, you know, your previous like work and transitioning to what you're doing right now, and how do you come to make the decision that you made in terms of like starting your own company?
Right. So as you already know, I do have a real estate background. So I was working as a leasing specialist in Philadelphia for about 5 years. Prior to that, I actually started as a concierge. So at the time I was freelancing. I was doing PR freelance work because I have a background in public relations. Okay. So I was doing freelance work and I wasn't really making that much money. So I had a friend who referred me to the company called, and they were looking to fill up like concierge positions. Man. I started working as a concierge there.
Wait, I have a question. What year was this?
This was 2015, maybe. And I guess in like about 6 months, like 6 months down the road, I was actually promoted to leasing greeter. That was actually a new position that they created just for me. I don't know. Oh, wow. And I guess they saw the value that I brought to the company. Job. Yeah. So then I was working as a leasing greeter. Pretty much I was like the assistant to the leasing agents in the office. And then maybe a couple months in that position, in that role, I was promoted again to leasing agent. Wow. So that is how my real estate career started. And working as a leasing agent, it was like extremely stressful because you really don't have like a work-life balance. Yeah. They take all that freedom away from you. Like you really are just working around the clock all day, every day. There's like no days off. Yeah. It's really tiring, but the money was, you know, you was making good money. So
like if they're busy really and they, you know, they need that work, you're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, like on your days off, you would have to make yourself available in case your client pops in, you know? It was like that type of lifestyle. However, I was making good money at a young age, like 6 figures, you know? Wow. Like, I was just like, yeah, like this is not too bad.
And then how did because you said your background's in PR, right? Mm-hmm. How did you start as a concierge? Like what got you in that place where you were on this trajectory for real estate?
It was never a thought of mine. It just happened.
It just kind of,
yeah.
Okay.
It really just happened.
She was just rolling with the punches.
Exactly. I was really just figuring life out because what I didn't mention is like prior to all of that, you know, prior to me working as a PR freelancer, I actually worked as a social media specialist. And this was for a company that
very millennial like. Right?
Yeah. It was my first full-time job post-grad, you know, after graduating. And I remember I started as an intern and I was just pretty much doing all their social media. Yeah. I got fired from that job because I asked for a raise. And then they purposely made me like create social media campaigns and work on so many projects just for me to do the work and fire me. And then they told me that if I took the work with me, then they will make it a legal matter and call the cops to have me arrested because it was considered their property. Wow. Yeah, so that experience, I was just like, damn, like that was my first corporate experience and it was horrific. And then, so that's when I just fell back and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do my own thing. So I started PR freelance work, just like working on people's websites, managing their social media accounts and just stuff like that, just hustling my way. And I even picked up a part-time job working as a receptionist at a hair salon. I was like all over the place. So and then so that's when like when that friend referred me to that job. I was like, yeah, like it was paying $17 an hour at the time. And then now they're paying like maybe $22 an hour. Like so it was decent money, just like get me back on my feet and, you know, get things rolling. Then when I started making like money as a leasing agent, you just don't really remember where you started when you're making that much money. And you always just want to make more. Like that's what it was. It was like, no, like I want more. So it's like once you get like they want you to be complacent. That's the thing. And I'm not a complacent person. So I'm always gonna like try to negotiate and like fight for what's mine, what I deserve. And it just didn't mesh well with the company.
You know, there are a lot of people who are interested in real estate, who are getting into real estate, but not everybody who's a leasing agent or agent in general is making six figures.
Right.
What is it that enabled you to make six figures, or what was the infrastructure that was set up that enable that?
So they've changed their pay structure numerous times, you know, working there. So when I first started, like with the group of agents that I've worked closely with in the office, our commission, it was like the commission varied based on property. So it was, you know, it was brand new. They gut renovated the property. And there were luxury apartments at the time. So they hired like the best, I guess, salespeople to like lease it up. And they offered us so many incentives in order for us to do so. So they would actually create like competitive like wars where they would pretty much just like create this competition and like a contest and throw it at us like, hey, whichever property gets 15 leases in a day, you get a $2,000 bonus, you know? And it was just like stuff like that. So we would be busting our asses, like, you know, just trying to reach that goal in order to get a huge bonus on our check, like for, you know, like we get the commission for those leases plus the bonus. So like all of those bonuses and like, you know, contests and holiday bonus, like it just easily just accumulates and you're making, like you're taking home a lot of money.
Got you.
That's just how it was.
So would you also say it was, you know, being in the right place at the right time too?
Exactly.
Like, it was a new construction place and
everyone wanted to be there. It was like the, you know, the place to live, especially with all of the amenities and blah, blah. But then they started getting like, they started approving just anybody. So like, you know, the whole like dynamic of the place changed. Yeah, it's like, it wasn't the same experience anymore. But
and so now, was it from that you were, you know, left during the pandemic, or?
Good question. So what happened with that is I initially quit. So I quit, I think around like 2018, Yeah, 2018, I quit them, and then I went to another company, another, real estate company.
Yeah.
So I started working as a real estate agent there. A leasing agent. I keep saying real estate agent. Leasing agent, they're two different things. Yeah. So as I was working there, I also was like trying to get what's mine. So I remember actually trying to match the difference by driving Lyft.
Yeah.
So I started driving Lyft a little bit just to like make up for that salary that I used to have. And then I got tired of it. I was like, you know what? Let me just like value like my free time, So I stopped driving Lyft. I was working there, and I bust my ass at that company. I was actually their top leasing agent. So I remember, I think like a year working there, I was promoted as their assistant property manager. So I was actually managing, they moved me from South Philly to Center City. I was working at the Arch. So I pretty much managed that property, and then also their short-term rentals, because they had this thing called Urban Perch, where it pretty much worked as like an Airbnb.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I was managing their short-term rentals, which were furnished units and stuff like that. And then that actually gave me the idea that I wanted to open up a boutique hotel. So that was actually my plan before Noir and Blanc. So I thought, like, I really wanted to open up a boutique hotel, which I probably will do maybe in the future. But that was like my goal. I was just like so like driven, and this is what I really want to do. And I'm like, I can run a better hotel than this place. Like, and long story short, I ended up quitting. I quit, and I ended up going back. I went back to, I was like, fuck this, I want to make some quick money. Let me just go back.
You dropping the F-bomb now.
I know. So I ended up, going back to, and they welcomed me, they were like happy to have me back. And I negotiated my offer letter to something that was like reasonable, because everything had changed within the company when I returned. There was a situation with a client of mine, and I was pretty much trying to help her get approved for an apartment. Her credit was bad, and it was like a whole situation with her bank. They like held her account because of like identity fraud or something like that. So I was trying to help her clear all of that up. Me going the extra mile for my client, because she still didn't get approved after I really went to bat for her. And she pretty much wrote an email to corporate and told them that I'm the reason why she didn't get approved. I'm the reason why the bank won't release these documents and all this other stuff, because she was still trying to get approved behind my back. So she threw me under the bus, and they pretty much used that as an excuse to fire me. Right after I had sent an email, talking about pay parity. However, the properties weren't getting fair pay. And the property that I was working at was the most challenging property because it was priced extremely high and the units were outdated. So it's like we were trying to compete with our other sister properties, which were totally renovated and they were not under construction. Like ours was like in a lease up because it was still under construction and the amenities weren't completed. The pool wasn't open, the gym wasn't open, and the apartments were old, And then the ones that were like select apartments that were renovated, they were priced for an arm and a leg. So, and then it's also like a campus. So everything is scattered. So mind you, I started working there during the pandemic. And no one gave me a tour. I didn't complete any onboarding process. No one showed me around. No one showed me the floor plans, the layouts. Like no one trained me to do anything. I had to literally learn on my own during the pandemic. So I would, pretty much everyone was working at home, working from home at the time. So I would have to make it my duty to show up to the property and show myself around to get familiar with the floor plans and the layouts, because my manager wasn't helping me. My coworkers weren't helping me. Everyone was just being total bitches. So I actually mentioned that to HR. They never took it into consideration. They never did anything about it. And then the second one little incident happens where a client is complaining about not being approved, I get fired. So yeah.
That's a lot to unpack. Like,
Yeah.
I just think your experience. Thank you for being honest about honestly exposing this culture, this corporate culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want our viewer to actually put themselves in your shoes right now, because I hear your story about having immigrant parents. I hear your story about like making 6-figure, and I just think as a millennium, like we get to the point of making 6-figure, like telling your friends that, setting that expectations, and then you sort of like giving that up is hard, right? Mm-hmm. But also knowing like the emotional toll and the sacrifice that you were making to even make that 6-figure. And I think that our generations go through this, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to uphold these expectations. Like I went to college, I went to an Ivy League, I should be making this much.
Right.
But somehow there was a lot going on with you behind closed door that you're able to share with us right now that I think that our viewers also can relate to, right? So talk to us about like the emotional sort of like that emotional impact that you were going through, that you think that we should know, that have sort of like led you to make that shift from that toxic corporate culture to like, F this, I'm gonna do my own thing, right? So walk us through that emotionally.
I mean, I definitely went through my fair share of emotional roller coasters. Mm-hmm. Like during the entire pandemic, it was like emotional for everyone. Mm-hmm. We were going through like so many different changes. And during that time when I got fired, I was devastated. Like I was really heartbroken. Like I was borderline depressed because I'm like, damn, like I did all this. Like I really broke my back for this company, like showed up and did what I had to do, put my best foot forward and like remained with a positive attitude throughout all this BS of like having like a shitty manager, a shitty experience coming back to this company, and then also feeling like that regret of like, damn, I should have like stayed at the other company. Like, why did I even come back here? And it's just like, I risked a lot to come back, and for them to treat me like that, it was just like a slap in the face. And, like it took me a while to actually form like my weak point into like my strong points. Like I really was going through it. Acts like my boyfriend Rich, he was there like comforting me the entire way. Like he was very supportive. He was like, yeah, you don't need to go back to working for another white man. He was like, you gonna do this. And I was like, okay. All right. So, like he has definitely been my backbone throughout it all. And that's when I was just like, literally sitting at home, like, damn, what am I gonna do? With Noir and Blanc, like, I actually was always interested in interior decorating. Yeah. I put a lot of work into like all of the apartments that I lived in. Every apartment that I moved to, I changed the entire style. Like, I get rid of everything that I once had and like get all new stuff because I'm like, this is like a new chapter in my life. Yeah. And the style that I had like a year ago, 2 years ago is not the style that I have now. So like I understand the changes. Like I like my environment to change along with me. Like depending on where I am in life, my growth, like I want my surroundings to feel and complement where I am in life. So
she's about the aesthetic.
It's all about the aesthetics. It's all about the aesthetics. Awesome. So it was always a hobby of mine when it came to like interior decorating, constantly like moving things around, looking, shopping around for like cute home decor items and stuff like that. So I think it was like around December, I was like, oh, let me launch a website, I'm sitting home, not really doing much. So let me just launch a website and sell home decor items. So I did just that. And I launched it in January of this year. And then I just started offering like interior decorating services because I had like people reach out to me because they love the way like I decorated my place. It's like, oh, can you help me decorate my place? Or, help me decorate like my store or showroom, whatever. I was like, sure. my very first client was his mother, and she was very supportive as well. So I actually helped her with a total like overhaul with her kitchen. We did a complete renovation of her entire kitchen, like gutted everything, and
wow.
Yeah, and that was my first interior design job. And I'm not even an interior designer. I'm an interior decorator.
Gotcha.
So that was very challenging. So I had to do research.
Explain the difference between interior design and interior decorating.
So interior design, they're more architectural, where they, they work closely with architects as far as like the structure of the home, the building, etc. And they also have to abide by certain codes and stuff. It's more technical.
Gotcha.
And then with interior decorators, we're all about the interior aesthetics when it comes to like picking out furniture and colors and textures and lighting fixtures. Like we do stuff like that, more of like the interior stuff. But
gotcha. Interior
designers, they do the whole spiel.
Got you.
It's what rich people like.
Yeah.
You got money, you can do that.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
I'm sure she got a menu for you too.
We talk about the transition from when you left to like filling the gap, because were you living off savings at this point? Were you?
I was.
Like what was
Yeah, so I was definitely living off savings, and luckily for me, because I was making so much money prior to that, I was able to save a lot of money. Thank God I didn't spend it all. And so I had a huge chunk of savings, and that is how I was able to pay my bills, pay my rent, and like I had it taken care of. Like,
cool.
I don't know how it happened, but it happened. Like grace of God. Like
grace of God.
He was definitely in my corner. And so then actually when they terminated me, they actually offered me what is it called? Severance pay. They offered me, I think it was initially 4 weeks severance pay.
Yeah.
And so then I reached out to a lawyer. And he's the one who convinced me. He was like, oh yeah, you can ask them for more.
Oh wow.
I asked them for more, and I got more. I think I got up to about 10 weeks severance pay from them. Yeah, so then I was also saving that money to pay my bills and everything.
So from 4 weeks to 10 weeks?
Yes,
wow.
Because, and I could have gotten more. I could have gotten more, but I didn't know any better at the time. And then I would also have to like hire the lawyer because he was expecting a percentage of whatever I earned. But that he was like, this is a case where you can get a lot of money, but it's gonna take time.
I would say we're getting a lesson right now in going to get what you deserve, because the fact that you reached out to the lawyer and he was like, no, you can go for more than that, and even just some of the comments you've mentioned just on your journey so far, around just like asking for what you deserve, like asking for the raise, like that. There's a lot of lessons in that for people, because most people wouldn't push back on certain things or wouldn't ask for the raise or whatever it may be.
Right, exactly. And as like a Black woman in corporate America, you're undervalued, and they know you are. But it's like if you are the yes man, they're gonna literally walk all over you, and you will never feel appreciated or get equal pay. Like the pay that you actually deserve. I've just never been like that yes man. That, like to them I'm combative, but it's like, no, I'm just not taking your BS. Like, cause it's like, I know what's going on here. Like, I'm not stupid. So stop trying to treat me like a fool. And like, no, like, I remember having discussions with HR, and the reality and the truth behind HR with corporate companies, they're not for the employees. They're for the owners and corporate office. Like, they're there to protect the brand, they're there to protect the business, they're not there to protect the people. And in knowing that's what made me so eager to start my own business. Because I knew for a fact that like I didn't want to repeat that experience for someone else. I want someone to, join my team and feel comfortable and feel treated fairly, equal, and, respected, because those are things that are just like totally just, I don't know, like disregarded when it comes to corporate America. It's like they don't treat their employees with respect, like the decent respect, and just like equality. You know, like favoritism is a real thing, and it happens every day in corporate America, every day.
It's again, for our viewers who are listening, I think that what you're sharing is really powerful, and we appreciate you again for being vulnerable and just being honest. So then you found your own company. It's almost like you liberated yourself from this corporate world, you know.
Definitely felt liberating.
And man, that's shout out to you for that.
Yeah.
You know, to get to that point itself is a success.
For sure.
So you started your own company. It's called
Noir Blanc.
Noir Blanc.
Design and Decor.
Design and Decor.
Yes.
Right? Talk to us about why you chose that name, and what's the story behind the name of the company. So
Noir Blanc, as many of you already know. I know that fly is like.
Was the vice president moment?
Just don't land on my forehead. So Noir Blanc, as many of you already know, it's French. Yeah. So me being, Haitian descent and also like French background, I wanted something that represents me and also like what I was trying to achieve in my business, which is elegance and culture. So like Noir Blanc, which is, French for black and white, it's all about simplicity. And like you can't get any more simplistic than black and white, you know? And also like it just rolls off the tongue nicely, Noir Blanc, I wanted something that is definitely simplistic, elegant, and bold. And black is bold, black is beautiful, like when it comes to like your style, whether it's like fashion, interior decorating, like black just stands out, and it's like when you mix the two colors, it's like it's a very minimalist design, which pretty much exudes my style, because I love modern, I love minimalistic, and just like simplicity, That's the meaning behind Noir Blanc and why I actually chose that name and stuck with that name, because it represents me and exemplifies like what I'm trying to do. And
then you mentioned that your first client was your boyfriend's mother?
Mother. Yeah.
And then how was it, putting up the website and getting that going?
So I actually didn't struggle with that, only because I did have experience designing websites. Okay. So I used to do it for clients, so I knew how to like do my own website. So I decided to actually use Squarespace, which is a server that I'm very familiar with. So it was pretty much self-explanatory, but you have to like really know how to like play with the coding and templates, because that's what it's all about. So I was able to like get my website up and running. I think I was working on it for like a few weeks and got it running. And to this day, I still make constant changes to my website. Yeah. Like I'm always changing like images, the homepage, like the functionality of it all. Like I'm always like just always on my website. Whatever there's something that I'm like, oh wait, this doesn't look good, and I can change this around. I'm just always focused on like making those minor changes.
Got you. For everyone who's watching this video, thank you for being with us. If you like what you see and hear, please make sure to give us a thumbs up in the video and definitely hit the notification button at the top right. We got with us DJ.
Hey y'all.
He's talking with us about Noir Blanc. And so now you started this in December, January, right? So now what's the journey been beyond the website and that first project?
So with my website, I was solely focusing on e-commerce. So I was selling, I do sell home decor items, that pretty much also represents the brand. So you'll see a lot of like black and white objects on there, like pillows and candles and stuff like that. And also furniture. So like chairs, tables, etc. So I do sell like a variety of different home decor items. And then interior decorating services. So I do provide like standard, right now a new service that I offer is virtual decorating. So people who, especially during this time like this, during the pandemic, not going into someone's home or they're not coming to you, like just to be safe and everyone feels comfortable, I offer virtual decorating where everything will be done like on the computer or on the phone. So I will pretty much create a visualization for them, whether it's like a mood board or 3D design. And I will also like create a spreadsheet or a list of all of the furniture items that they'll need to purchase. Like they'll click on the link and then just make the purchases. So it's like a really easy, like simple process and experience. So it's like, it's easy for me and easy for them, you know? So all they have to do is just like look at the design board or, you know, the 3D sketch, approve it, and then purchase the items and arrange it just how it is on the actual design.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I've done that. And then also just working as far as like room revamps is a very common service that people like to, you know, take on. So a lot of living room revamps, maybe done like 1 bedroom revamp, a patio, like outdoor patio. That turned out really nice, you know. And there's like 3 projects that I'm currently working on right now. One of them is just like arts and accessories. So I pretty much just like recommend and provide them with a list of items that they can use to decorate their home, whether it's like sculptures, paintings, you know, accessories like mirrors and plants and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess it's all on the website. It's nebdesigns.com.
So I've checked out the website and I definitely get what you're saying about the whole minimalist kind of vibe or aesthetic too. And yeah, I could tell like you're really about simplicity and kind of getting straight to the, you know, to the point.
Exactly.
It seems.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I wanted to ask you, so we have this idea to eventually open up our own space.
Okay.
And so we want to have this sort of like diaspora, you know, aesthetic. Okay. So, you know, when you talk about like the kind of displays that you do, can you see yourself doing different kinds of aesthetics, or do you have sort of like, are you looking for like a particular kind of client?
No. So it's, at the end of the day, it is what the client wants, you know? And then I just intervene with like my taste, where it just like also is something that I am proud to be working on, you know, but I still stick to their style. So right now I have a client whose style is glam. That's not my style. However, I'm able to provide that look that she's going for, even though it's not like my style per se.
Got you.
You know, so I still provide them with what they want and the style that they're going for, but I just add my own twist so it looks like a Noir and Blanc design. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So talk to us about your customers. Like, who has been like your main customers so far, and also like how do you plan to grow moving forward?
So as of right now, a lot of my clients have been referrals, and I do thank my best friend Dre for referring a few clients my way. So they've been like either like friends, family, or like friend of a friend, friend of a friend, a friend of a friend, you know. So that's how I've been, you know, actually attaining my clientele.
Yeah.
And I do hope to expand, of course, to like outside of the tri-state area, because right now it's mainly based in like Philadelphia and New York. So Philadelphia and New York, those where I get like both of my clientele, since I am there a lot. I do plan on expanding, you know, to a wider like range of cities and areas. And what was the other part of the question?
The other part is basically
like working with customer. Like, what's that customer experience been like?
So the customer experience, actually, it has been great. And I'm not just saying that, it has been great. There are times where you get a little frustrated because of either like miscommunication or, you know, That's pretty much it. It's mostly just miscommunication, where as far as like when it comes to like reality, like realistic planning and budgeting, you know, like I have to like remind my clients, like, you can't expect caviar with McDonald's money, you know? So there's only so much that I can do. Like, we're gonna have to be like, set a realistic budget here. Exactly, you get what you pay for. You know, like, you can't, don't cheat yourself, treat yourself.
It sounds like it must be fun going through your firm.
Yeah.
What's it been like marketing Noir and Blanc? Like, how have you thought about that, or how you know, how have you been thinking about that as you've been, you know?
So as far as marketing, I've been doing all the marketing. I don't have like a set marketing team. However, I did just bring on 3 interns. Okay. One of them is solely creativity and marketing. Okay. So we are working on that. The marketing that I've done was strictly me. So I've done like a lot of social media ads, you know, Google and stuff like that. So I do plan on building like a better like marketing plan for the business to grow. Yeah. The goal that I have in mind is to open up a storefront. So I would love to have an actual like storefront boutique selling home decor items. Yeah. And you can stop in and get consultations. But I also want it to be like a showroom that is actually like a boutique, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So I want it to be like a full-on experience. When you walk in, it's like CB2, sort of, but not in a way where it's like just selling. It's more of like an experience. You know, you walk in and you get to like just experience different like rooms and styles, and then also be able to purchase the items that you see.
Gotcha. Where'd you find your interns?
So online, through one of my marketing ads. So I actually created an ad on social media, posted it, and I received like a lot of resumes and DMs. So then I actually like, you know, went through, selected like the interns with like impressive resumes and who were actually like available and eager to do it. And I interviewed them and I selected the 3 final ones that are on my team now.
It's also right now, what, it's like four people?
Right now, it's, including me, it's 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, what are your target, like, audience, like, customers? Mm-hmm. Like, right now, are you just open to anybody, or, like, do you have in mind about, like, you know, who do you, like, targeting?
So, mostly women. Okay. Because women take pride in their homes as far as like all about the aesthetics, the details.
I feel some shots though.
I would say mostly women.
You got something to say about what you just said. You trying to say like women got the money and we don't?
No. It's not even about the money. It's about the effort. It's about the effort, because I know a lot of men, they'll be okay with like a bean bag and a mattress on the floor. You know, they don't really care about furniture and like making their place look nice and cozy. Yeah. Like women take more pride in the little things. Like we want to get cute pillows. We want to get like a cute bed frame and, you know, like nice coffee table, nice, like we care about all of the little details. And most men, they're like, as long as I got a bed and a chair, like I'm good, you know?
So, Aki and I thought about decorating, changing the design of our apartment. And that's a goal that we set, and it's been 3-4 years ago we talked about this?
We talked about this a long time ago.
It hasn't been done yet. So,
thank God for the exposed brick in our apartment. Otherwise, you say like
that's the aesthetic
there's nothing going on.
With that being said, as a man, we do need to step our game up.
That's a fact.
Really, like, you know, design our place.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh, yeah. I was just insinuating something, but I guess you got to the point. But
exactly. I'm here to help.
That's awesome. We getting closer to the home stretch here. Aki, you might have more questions.
Well, something I want to ask, because there are a lot of people who are thinking about taking the leap from corporate to either creative or starting their own business. What would you tell everyone out there who is thinking about making that jump, or maybe lost their job during the pandemic, or is going through a transition in life where they're, I would say, sort of liberating themselves into where it is they truly want to go?
Right. I would say, to be honest, the answer is literally just do it. Because if you keep stalling and like, I'm not ready, or I need this, I need that, you're making excuses, you're just gonna keep dragging it and slower, like you're slowing down your process and where you wanna go. So it's like, just do it. Take that leap of faith, do it, but you also wanna be smart. Yeah. And before you do it, make sure that you have a place to stay. Make sure you have like some money in your savings. Yeah. You know, you want to be realistic and be smart, but you really just have to do it. Like, just like Nike, just do it.
Just do it. Were you, when you did decide to go forward with Noir and Blanc, were you all in, or were you like the whole way through, or were you thinking about going back to a job?
Oh, no, I was all in.
You were straight.
I was all in. When I tell you I was fed up with corporate, that was the last straw. I was like, oh no, this is gonna have to work. Wow. And it's working. So yeah, I was like, no, there's no going back. And if I go back to any other job, it's more so because I'm working as an independent contractor, not a full-time employee. Like, I'm not doing that again. No.
All right. Well, you heard it here. You heard it here first.
It's not the place for me.
Just nothing to add after that. So that was a great question, Aki. Honestly, I think, in fact, a lot of people right now lost their job during the pandemics, and there's a lot of shift going on. People say, I'm not going back to my old job, and people really trying to take this leap of faith. So it's incredible.
I mean, there's no better time to do it than now. Yeah. Because there's free money out there. Yeah. Like, take advantage. Take advantage.
Expand on that.
I mean, like.
Actually, how can we secure the bag?
Listen, you definitely got to put in the work.
I'm not gonna lie. Like the way you're dressed right now, you know that that meme of the lady walking into the new year, hopping on the steps.
Now she's stepping up the crate, stepping on the crates.
That's the impression I'm getting.
Yeah, starting a business, it's like the vision, the passion is there. Most of us have that. But somehow we get stuck with like the financial aspect of it. Give us our viewers some advice on like, how do you really like navigate the finance? How do you secure the money? Like, how some people rely on people who are wealthy. Some of us, don't have that.
Yeah,
How do you get the money?
So luckily for me, like I said, I did have a savings. I had a hefty savings account, and that's actually what kept me afloat, like starting, like trying to, get my business starting. And then also having a supportive boyfriend, financially too. So, he was definitely helpful. So I know not everyone has like, a partner that is like financially stable that can actually help you. However, right now I say like, this is the best time to start a business, and you just have to you find a problem, and once you find the problem, you find a solution, and then that's how like you get your business started. So during the pandemic, they're giving out free money, which is like what I mentioned. Yeah. So I know they have like so many loans and grants, and then also unemployment, so if you're unemployed, you have every right to collect unemployment.
It's very true.
It's not like you're doing anything like illegal. Yeah. It's literally money that is rightfully yours. So why not take it and use that to like get your, that's like your stepping stool.
Awesome. So we like to ask our guests this question, right? I want you to imagine what age is this? What age are we most confused? 13, struggle, like 11.
Is that the age we're confused?
Right? Are we trying to figure? We're trying to figure ourselves.
Your younger self. Your younger self.
Yeah.
I say 18.
So I was just saying, I want you to imagine a 12-year-old, 13-year-old version of yourself right now, sitting in front of you, and based on where you're at now, what advice would you have for her?
Do not limit yourself and think big. Think big, do not limit yourself. Yeah. And whatever you want, you can get. Like, as long as you apply yourself. You apply yourself, you can achieve the goals that you have in store. Like, whatever, it's just like, to be honest, like we limit ourselves with reality sometimes. It's just like you feel as though like, oh, I can't do something because of this. Like it all depends on your surroundings. Like you definitely want to remain optimistic but realistic, but you don't want to set certain limitations because it's going to make you like you're going to enclose yourself in a box and it will prevent you from growing. So like don't limit yourself. Just whatever you have your mindset on, like you can achieve. If that's what you really want, you can achieve it.
That's well said. That's really well said. How can people, stay tuned to what you're doing and get in touch with you?
So definitely follow me on Instagram. So it's at noireblanc.co. So that is my Instagram handle, and then also my website, which is www.nebdesigns.com, and I'm also on Facebook, which is Noir Blanc Designs. So all three, like you can reach me there. I am posting as often as I can. Okay. I plan on posting more, since now I have marketing intern. So yeah.
Well, we have with us DJ from Noir and Blanc. This is a Pepe Soup Talk, the fashionable DJ.
Thank you.
That out there.
I tried.
And stay tuned with what she's doing. We're excited to see where you take Noir and Blanc. And we'll be back at you next time for Pepe Soup Talk.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.